Have you ever met someone who you thought that you were really close to? You start spilling everything about your life to this person that you just met, or someone who you think is a friend, and instead of just kind of keeping the conversation short and sweet, you start going on a long rant about all of these issues in your life. And then once that conversation is over with and you've gone home, you start to have all these regrets, like, why did I tell them all of this information? Why did I talk so much? Now you feel like everyone knows everything about you in your personal life, and now your life is on display for the entire world to see. If you are a friendly, open person, you really need to listen to what I'm telling you. Not everybody is ready to know you intimately. You can't just go around exposing all of your vulnerabilities and your insecurities and your mistakes and your hopes and dreams to everybody. Because what happens is people who are disloyal are going to exploit that openness about you and put all of your business out on the street. So number one, get off social media. If you are about the age of 40 and below, we all have grown up around the social media era. And the saying is, if you didn't post it on social media, did it really happen? So you're going around, you're taking pictures of everything about your life. Because social media has blurred the lines of privacy, it can be really difficult to know what to share and what not to share. How many of your followers do you actually personally know? And how many of those people do you actually talk to on a daily basis? Almost none of them. And to be honest with you, these people don't really care about you. They just want to be in your business. They just want to see what you're doing. But there's no love there. So just get off social media. Number two, ask questions. The best way to stop oversharing is to ask the other person questions. And it allows you to give the other person room to actually talk. Let's say, for example, you start chatting with someone at a networking event at an airport.
I have not been away from my family for this long in forever. I miss my family so much. And I mean, it's great traveling to work for conferences, but I just miss my family so much and I don't know what to do without them.
I agree. Being gone from my husband and 2 kids has just been so difficult. I have not been away from them for this long. Do you have any children? So now you've moved the conversation from professional to personal in a natural way. By me agreeing with Penny's statement, I have then created a connection with her, and then I turned the conversation around by asking her a question about her family. Okay, number 3, pause before hitting send. Let's say, for example, you just met a guy and you've gone on a couple of dates with him and you want to start to get to know him a little bit better, but it's still kind of new, so you don't really want to give him too much personal information about yourself. Or for example, like you need to send an email to your manager because you need time off for a family issue and you're worried that you're giving too much personal information to them. Set aside about an hour before sending it. I would suggest sending a screenshot to one of your close friends and ask them if you're oversharing. I would also suggest, if you are prone to oversharing a lot, then go to a different room, go to a different space and reread your text message or reread your email, so that way you're able to see the message in a fresh light, in a clear light. And this change of scenery can help you read your text message or your email with a fresh pair of eyes. Number 4, find what your oversharing trigger is. There are so many reasons why we tend to overshare and just give way too much of our personal business out on the street. You could be oversharing because you might have grew up in a family where your family just kind of overshares and everyone knows everything about everybody in your family. So you take this same mindset that you have with your family and you put it out into the world and think that it's okay to just overshare with just anyone. And you apply it to acquaintances and strangers and your coworkers, thinking it's normal when it's not. Or you probably overshare because you have social anxiety. People who have social anxiety are more prone to overshare because whenever you feel anxious around other people, it can really easily lead to you just rambling. Like for me, I used to suffer from oversharing a lot, and it was mainly because I suffered from social anxiety. And what would happen was, when I would talk to someone and I'm trying to get to know them, I looked at awkward silence as like, oh, they think I'm boring. So I would tend to just overshare. I would talk too much and give way too much personal information. That's why whenever you feel comfortable around someone, the silence doesn't really trigger you that much. It doesn't really ignite that fear within you, and it's not as awkward. But when you first meet someone, that silence could be like, they don't like me, they think I'm boring, they're not really talking a lot, so therefore I'm just gonna talk more and then end up telling all of my business. So my advice to you, once you figure out what your trigger is and why you are oversharing, it'll be a lot easier for you to avoid oversharing. The next time that your brain is like, let's overshare, let's talk, let's start rambling, let's start word vomiting, take a step back and become an active listener. Listen to the person that you're talking to and challenge yourself not to say anything about yourself. Instead, engage with what the other person is saying and ask them questions. Number 5, slow down before you speak.
I really like your outfit. It's so cute.
Oh, thank you, girl. You know, I actually found this at Goodwill. My fiance is always getting on me about how I shop too much. We actually had to take a second mortgage out on our house because of it. I know when you first meet someone, the conversation can be kind of dry. So a lot of times we try to rush the initial reaction in order to create some type of connection with the other person, because you want to create a place of comfort and you want to create that intimacy in a short amount of time. When you try to force intimacy too soon in a relationship, it can be very off-putting to the other person. So practice slowing down, breathe, take a breath before answering the question and jumping into your long-winded story, and think to yourself, is what I'm about to share relevant, interesting, or helpful to the person I'm speaking with? So let the conversation run smooth, ask them questions, and don't give too much of your personal business out to them. Okay, so that was 5 ways to stop telling your business to other people. So now we're gonna go into 5 conversations that you absolutely need to avoid with strangers, with acquaintances, and with coworkers. Number 1, income. A big reason why you don't wanna talk about income to other people is because it can often cause jealousy. There are people out here who are just jealous of you. And it's not because they just don't wanna see you win, it's because they don't want to see you doing better than them. So it can often cause resentment, it can cause people to take advantage of you. Like for example, like if you tell a guy that you just now started dating how much money you make and you happen to make more than him, then whenever you guys go on a vacation, he's gonna wanna do 50-50 because he's gonna be like, well, she can afford it. So there are just people out here who don't wanna see you doing better than them. So they'll take advantage of you. All of a sudden, when you tell someone how much money you make, all of a sudden they're texting you like, hey, can I borrow $50? I'll pay you back. And they'll never pay you back. Don't even talk about your income to a coworker, because there's a chance that you could be making more than them. And then once they find out that you're making more than them, they'll automatically just like change up and be like, why is she making $1 more than I am? Like she doesn't even do her job correctly. And then all of a sudden they start getting really jealous of you, and then they might try to sabotage you. And then also you have to deal with thieves. If someone knows how much money you're making, you don't know if they can just come over to your house and just steal your stuff. Let's say, for example, you tell someone who you just met how much money you're making, and you happen to invite them over to your house just to hang out, and then they go into the back or to the bathroom and they start stealing all of your stuff because they're like, oh, they can afford it. They're making 6 figures a year because you told them how much money you were making. So they're jealous of you. So just be careful, because there are people who are thieves out here who will take advantage of you and your kindness. Number 2, don't talk about your sex life. What you do in the bedroom is your business. And what you do in the bedroom is a very vulnerable position to be in. So for you to just go out there and just talk about what you're doing in the bedroom to just anybody, that's not good. And that's not how a lady behaves, because you don't know if that person is gonna go out and be like, I know that she told me her boyfriend couldn't even get it up. I know, it's so embarrassing. And it's like they're going around telling your business to people, and something that's super intimate, something that you shared with that person, and they're going around telling your business to everyone else. So that's why you do not want to talk about your sex life, because the minute your sex life gets out there into the public and the whole world knows what you're doing in the bedroom, that can be incredibly embarrassing. Number 3, change of jobs. If you're about to change a job, don't tell anyone, especially your current coworkers. So there was one time I was working for this company and I put my 2 weeks in, and everyone was asking me like, Devin, where are you going? Where are you going? And I was just like, oh, I basically lied to them and I told them I was going to some random company. But I did do one thing. There was a coworker who, again, I thought I was close to. I told them, I was like, I'm going to this company, this other company. And then all of a sudden, everybody in my company knew the exact company I was moving to. How did they find out? I only told one person. It only takes one person. All of a sudden, everyone from the company started applying to the same position. It got to the point where the company that I had moved from, a good 5 to 6 people had applied for the same company. And I didn't want that, because it's like, I'm trying to move away from y'all, not try to bring y'all with me. That's why you don't want to tell anyone that you are changing jobs or where you're going to, especially to your old coworkers. Number 4, relationship problems. Whatever is going on in your household with your relationship with your boyfriend, with your fiance, with your husband, be very cautious of the information that you tell to people who you had just met. So I used to work for Progressive, and there was this girl named Melissa who I used to work with, and me and her, we had just met not even a month in. And she was telling me everything about her relationship problems, all the arguments that they were getting into, how they got into a fight last night. And honestly, I was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm only here to work. And it was like every single day she was running into issues with her boyfriend. And she was coming to me with her relationship problems. Like, I don't know him. And I honestly didn't care. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who you are going to with your relationship problems probably don't care either. So my best suggestion would be, if you are needing help with your relationship, y'all can go to therapy. Y'all can go to couples therapy. Or 2, you can talk to a friend who you have known for a long time, preferably someone who also knows your boyfriend or your husband or your fiance. fiance, because a lot of times when you go to someone for relationship advice and they don't know your partner like that, they're only really giving you a one-sided advice. So I tend to go to people who also know my fiance for any type of relationship advice because they know him. They're like, Devin, you're overreacting right now. I'm like, I know your fiance, I know Norton. I'm sure he didn't mean it the way he said it. So they're able to see both sides of the picture. Number 5, your coworkers are not your friends. So a lot of you may know I used to live in New York City and I had suffered from bed bugs. Yes, I had bed bugs at my apartment. It was absolutely disgusting. Because I had bed bugs, they were biting me like all over my arms and my legs. And one time my coworker came up to me and he was like, what are all of those bites on your arms and legs? And me thinking that we're close and that we're cool, I was like, oh man, like I have bed bugs at my apartment. About an hour went by and my manager had called me up to his office and he said, you do know that bed bugs like to latch onto clothes. You know I could fire you right now because you have bed bugs. My coworker had went and told the manager and almost the entire store that I had bed bugs at my apartment. Moral of the story, learn to shut up. I almost got fired from my job because I told a coworker who I thought I was close to, who I had known for 2 years. I told them what I was going through in my own home and that I was suffering from a bed bug infestation. Because I told him, that almost costed me my job. Like, it doesn't matter how much you and that coworker talk, how much y'all chat, y'all could have each other's personal phone numbers, y'all could hang out outside of work, but let me tell you, if they are your coworker, they are not your friend. You're cordial to each other because you work for the same company and you see each other a lot, but you're not friends because you don't know if you tell them something and they go behind your back to your manager and then rat on you. And then all of a sudden that's gonna cost you your job. There's a lot of people out here who are snakes in the grass. They'll pretend to be nice to you, they'll pretend to be your friend, but deep down inside, they're wanting to get ahead and they really don't care. The only thing they care about is getting that promotion. And if that takes stepping on you to get there, they will do it. Okay, now that we've gone over 5 ways to stop telling your business to people and then 5 conversations to avoid, let's talk about the difference between oversharing and authenticity. For me, I always prided myself on being authentic, but then I realized, no, Devin, you're just oversharing. So authenticity is just being honest and vulnerable. Oversharing is when you are overwhelming someone with personal information that they are not prepared to listen to. And a lot of times we think in order to be authentic, we have to overshare everything about our lives and share every intimate detail with everyone in order to be considered authentic or to be considered real. So, you know me, I don't like to give y'all definitions and stuff because that's boring. So I'm gonna give you examples on what it means to overshare and then also what it means to be authentic. Hey Penny, how's your dating life right now? I heard you met this guy.
Oh girl, yes, I've been meaning to tell you. I met this guy a few months ago on Tinder and we have been off and on because he has been ghosting me. He told me that he likes me, but he never takes me out on dates. One time he came over to my house and got super wasted and threw up all over my kitchen floor. I just want to find someone who's more mature.
Hey Deja, how's your dating life going right now?
Thank you so much for asking, girl. If I'm being honest, it's a bit complicated right now with my partner. It's been teaching me a lot about myself, which is super valuable. How about you? How are you feeling about your relationship?
Okay, so you notice how in the first scenario, Penny just gave way too much information about her personal life in her relationship and what was going on in her household, whereas Deja was still being transparent, but she didn't fall into that oversharing trap. So she just talked about a couple of details about her relationship and then she asked me a question. Vulnerability is not the same as being vulnerable. It's actually the opposite. Okay, so now we're gonna go over how to tell that you're oversharing. So it can be kind of hard to notice that you're oversharing whenever you're talking to someone, especially if you're just so accustomed to just telling all of your business to just anyone. But here are some cues that can help you see if the other person is starting to become uncomfortable. So are people showing signs that they are uncomfortable around you whenever you are oversharing? So for example, are they fiddling with their fingers? Are they crossing their arms? Are they angling your body away from you? These signs can show that people are just like uncomfortable around you. Not everybody deserves to know you intimately. And there are people out here who want to see you fall. So stop giving them access to your personal life. Also, do not forget, the knife they put in someone else's back is the same knife you will have to pull out of your own. Marinate on that for a second. A lot of times we can have the tendency to overshare. And sometimes that just comes from wanting validation from multiple sources of people. If you are the type of person who just calls up your friends or just calls up your family members over every little issue that you have in life just to get validation or approval from them or to get their opinions, then go watch my video on how to stop seeking external validation. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I post every single Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central Time, so do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I love to see you guys' comments. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and with love.